Damn it, son of a bitch got me. I wasn't able to steal his gun in time and then shoot him back with it. How does that mechanic work? That makes no sense. How could you steal another person's gun in a game on keyboard and mouse? Well, no, because it's a very complicated game mechanic. You see, it makes complete sense because I have to hit G, H, and J to activate the sequence to steal the gun out of his pocket. Then I use the mouse to click on the icons to then get the weapon and then convert it to shoot him. That doesn't even make any sense, even if it's in a first person or third person's perspective. And looking at that screen, it looks like a cinematic perspective from like a Telltale choose your own adventure game. And then this makes no fucking sense. How would you play this like that? Well, you see, the game is in this like third personal space that makes complete sense that I would be able to pay enough attention to do this, even though there's another player playing with real time trying to kill me at the same time. It makes complete sense why I'm able to play this game somehow like this, even though there's some scenes where it's a first person shooter and sometimes not. And I'm able to do all these cool backflips because you have to hit the arrow keys and the bracket keys at the same time while paging up and down to be able to dodge all the gunshots at the same time. It definitely wouldn't be a complicated ass system that would take about 3 years or 5 years to learn to get even semi decent at the game. That literally makes no fucking sense. There's no way you could ever learn that, and no way any game developer would do that to where this game apparently is so popular as you say it fucking is. Nah, man, you think this game is coded that well? Nah, this guy clearly stole this idea from another person's, imported the game code to make the game better, even though I don't even think that they could do that. I don't think that's how that works. And then he secretly left another version of the original layout of the game in the game. Why would he leave the original layout? How hard is it to code that out of the game? Even if you, I don't even think you could adapt it correctly. This makes no goddamn sense. Well, you see, if this AI is so advanced that it starts to learn, comes to life, the evil creator of the game definitely just can't, you know, make a patch update deleting that code from the game. Nah, he has to take an axe and destroy all the servers just to prove a point. Even though the game makes plenty of money. This is the dumbest idea for a game I've ever fucking heard. Listen, you really gonna question all this stuff? This is just an opening sketch for the free guy thing. You know what? I have you a question. Why are you me? Well, you see, because you're sad and lonely, have you nobody else to film with, so you have to do this sketch where I'm wearing a different outfit to do this. Yeah, you know, you don't have to remind me about how sad and lonely I am and the fact that I have to use you as another person like that. But this is besides the point, okay? I'll fine. I'll go review the goddamn movie. I'd like to point out that you're leaving the set that you film on, so why are you going out there? Yeah, fine, you're fucking right. This is where I normally film. What's up, everyone out there? Welcome back to the Phantoms Fanatic YouTube channel. I am here with another review, and this review is on Free Guy, which came out last year in 2021, starring Ryan Reynolds, Taika Waititi, and a bunch of other people. And obviously, the plot of this movie is that Ryan Reynolds plays Guy, a video game NPC, who has to relive the same mundane experience over and over again in Free City, this whole GTA 5 style type video game where you do a bunch of missions and stuff, earn cash, do illegal shit and stuff like that. And he eventually becomes sentient and learns to break away from the program due to this person named Millie who has affiliations, this player who plays the game, who has affiliations with the company because the creator screwed her over and stuff like that, and stuff happens, the game's about to be destroyed, everybody gets deleted. And in my opinion, you get a very average and very confusing video game movie, but one that's just a lot of fucking fun. That's the thing about this movie. I have problems with it, but I feel like I can turn my brain off and just be like, this is just so much fun. Like,
sure, you care enough for the characters because it's Ryan Reynolds and stuff like that. This game is interesting, even though I have a lot of fucking problems with that. Obviously, I parodied that in the opening, and I'll be talking about that. But I really just did have a lot of fucking fun with this movie. Ryan Reynolds, of course, is great as this character who slowly like becomes more sentient, but still has like this warm-heartedness to himself that I really do enjoy his portrayal of this. And the actress who plays Millie, I feel like does a fine enough job, even though like I feel like her reaction to realizing that this video game character is sentient is a bit underwhelming, and the fact that she almost falls in love with this character, and the fact that her friend who based this character off of her in a certain type of way, not to get into spoilers, but that's kind of what it's explained as. I feel like that was a bit of a kind of fucking creepy angle to it. It didn't bother me as much because I knew where the film was going to go as soon as they mentioned that. I knew how this was going to play out, but I was excited to see like all these fun little jokes they make about video games and stuff like that, and all of this other type of stuff. Let's start off with the positives. The action is very good. I like this game idea. You know, it's this film is half Truman Show, half They Live in some aspects, but um I really did enjoy like all the video game aspects, and especially when they're in the game, it's just a lot of fun. All these actors are just having a fun time, especially Taika Waititi as the main villain. He's clearly having a lot of fun with this performance, and it's like sometimes it's like, okay, stereotypical villain that makes no fucking sense of what he's doing, but it's like he's clearly just having a blast, and so am I while seeing all this. And the film is very entertaining with the comedy, especially I'm surprised they got away with so many jokes that genuinely surprised me with with the fact that this is PG-13. And the whole style of the movie I really do like. All the like integrations of certain songs into action scenes I do like. But then I don't think this is a perfect movie. Obviously the plot is by the numbers, but that really didn't bother me as much. But the fact that obviously I'm a person who plays a lot of video games, a lot of PC video games. But the fact, and even I mentioned this in the opening, the fact that this game apparently takes, this is minor spoilers for the film, but it's fucking Ryan Reynolds playing a guy, a video game NPC who turns sentient and starts fighting against everything. But I feel like the whole premise, these creators kind of know how video games work, but at the same time they don't. And yet again, like, because we are shown the video game from the outside perspective on how it looks, it also looks very weird. Like the CG used for it looks like almost like a fucking like shitty CGI commercial instead of like a GTA 5 type looking thing, which GTA 5 doesn't have the best of graphics, but this just looks really confusing when I see it, and it's kind of a disjoint. And I kind of get the idea of how this game kind of works. It's like a GTA 5 type thing, and this is not hugely important, but when the whole plot of the movie relies on this fucking game's mechanics and stuff like that, I'm gonna mention it. But really, my main problem with this idea is the fact that we see all this real world stuff happening in the film version, which I understand you have to it's almost just helping the audience see what's actually happening, while in the game it's probably something else. But even so, like, you see character Millie who's controlling this, her avatar is like doing backflips and shit, and it's like, is she actually doing that? Because I've played video games, don't get me wrong, I've played a lot. In none of them is my character able to do backflips, like karate chop somebody, then shoot them. Like, the amount of actual, like, coding that would be into and how complicated the game would be so impossible to play like that. And like, even there's a scene where a character is like doing this heist scene, and this is the main turning point for Guy. She just has her mouse on her hand. I'm like, no, you just can't do that. Even though it's like, I don't mind it that much, but I understand that they had to adapt some scenes for a film audience instead of making it play like a video game. But still, the mechanic of like, she reaches into Ryan Reynolds' pockets to pull out Glocks, and I'm like, how the. Like, and that leads to a funny joke still, but it's like, how the fuck does that happen? Like, I don't understand how some mechanics of this game work, because there's just items you can pick up all the place that Ryan Reynolds finds. I don't know. It's a confusing thing about this movie that bothered me mainly because I know video games, and I know that video games usually don't act like this. So seeing that kind of stuff taken up into this game, this movie, which heavily revolves around that, bothered me to say nonetheless. And then there's this whole like Truman Show type thing where it's just like his life keeps going on repeat. It's nothing really new. It's the same thing, but then he evolves past it and like goes out and do that stuff, and it even relates that with the creator trying to stop him and stuff like that. But where in the Truman Show, I found that very interesting. In this, it's like, okay, I've seen this better in the Truman Show. Sure, it's done fine here. It's not a huge problem that I have to be super invested in. I'm invested enough with Guy, even though I know nothing's gonna happen to him, especially because like his best friend does this like thing at the end, and you're like, oh no, but then it all gets resolved and stuff like that, and it's like, it's just a fun, dumb movie that I honestly had a lot of fun with. Ryan Reynolds, of course, has so much charisma in this. Even though there's a problem with the video game aspect, mainly because I'm a gamer, and this bothered me. And then, like, the whole, like, idea of adding so many different, like, pop culture references. Like, you have all these different YouTubers and streamers doing this, which is like, okay, fair, interesting idea, but it fucking bothers me when you have, like, all these different fucking references, and it's just like, you're just doing this to cash in. Like, there's there's a fucking scene in this movie where I was like, okay, I don't know if I like that, where he pulls out like this Captain America shield, then you see Chris Evans, the actual fucking actor, react like that. I'm like, okay, that's a bit stupid. And then, like, they're like, oh, is that a lightsaber? When he pulls out a lightsaber and the Star Wars theme starts playing, and I'm like, oh my god, you're pandering to so much. And he pulls out a Fortnite pickaxe and stuff like that. It's like, I understand that a lot of movies have to kind of do this now. Even Endgame did this, but my main fucking problem with this is that it's never really fun to me. It just seems like pandering that really fucking bothers me when I don't like this. It's like, it's so hard for me to actually like have an enjoyable moment of this stupidity that is to the where the point was like, okay, I don't really care. And then like the idea of like seeing the YouTube streams, I fucking noticed something in this. There's two separate live streams that are supposed to be taking place on the same date. There's one that's in August and one that's in December, but then that date gets changed to December. I fucking found you out, movie. I found you out. But no, this movie, I understand, just to get the premise back, they had to do that kind of stuff, and I understand that to adapt it to film, they had to do this. They could have done without the pop culture references that really kind of irked me because I didn't find it really funny or anything like that. And sometimes I can accept that kind of humor and stuff like that, but sometimes I just find it way too fucking stupid. But I definitely did enjoy this. It pokes fun at video game stuff, and obviously Ryan Reynolds in the comedy works really well. There's action scenes that I did enjoy, and there's like a whole lot of like NPC type like comment, like NPC stuff, and like how fucked up the world is in some moments, which the comedy really landed in this. I thought that it was just kind of average with the whole plot, but I definitely do recommend this. It's just a fun watch, even though I have problems with it, and it's obviously not the perfectly well done thing of like the Truman Show type style of like reliving the same day over and over again, but then breaking free eventually, you know. It didn't bother me too much, but I just saw the similarities and I have to point them out. But yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment your opinion down below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and yeah, I will see you all next time.